Okay, this may sound funny, but bear with me. You know, when you have like the favorite chair that you sit in all the time, you sit there every day, that's where you study, that's where you have your quiet time, and it's getting a little ratty. You know, it's just kind of fraying at the edges, and you feel like it's time to get a new chair. It's just time. So, what do you do? Do you toss out the old one that you sit in every day before you get the new one? No, you don't. You don't just go, I'm going to toss this out. We don't tend to get rid of the things that we're comfortable with, the things that we've been relying on, the things that we're used to. We don't tend to get rid of them until we start focusing on looking for a new chair. So to get rid of the old one isn't like, okay, out with the old, and then, oh my gosh, scramble. What we do in that process, and I guarantee you, all of you have done this in your, unless something like breaks and you immediately have to go get something. But if you're thinking about it, go, oh, I get to go get a new chair. Okay, I'm going to start looking. And you start Googling and you go on Amazon and you look around, you go to your favorite store and you go, oh, that's the chair. Okay, now I get to purchase the chair, have it delivered, I bring it in, and then the old one goes out very naturally. But if you try to get rid of the old chair, the comfortable chair, the one you're so accustomed to, without having the new one, how hard is that? It's like, no, I'm used to that chair. I sit in it every day. I don't know what I would do without it. Well, guess what? That's what we do with error that has gotten comfortable in our lives. We focus on the thing that we want to get rid of. And then we don't get rid of it because it's part of our life and we're comfortable with it and we're used to it. And the only way to get rid of it, unless there's an extreme case, like when something's broken, it's like it broke, you can't use it. It's like the choice was made for you. You can't use it anymore. So now go get a new one. Well, it still sits there until you get the new one. So what we need to do when we recognize that there's an error, that there's something that I don't really want to be doing that anymore. That's a habit I can get rid of. That's a habit I can lose. So when we focus on losing something, what does monkey mind do? What does that egoic, false sense of identity do? Oh, I'm losing something. Fear of loss. Immediate anxiety. Immediately grab on. I want to hold on to that thing because I'm afraid to lose it. If we focus on gaining what's new, gaining what's right and what's true, we don't have a fear of losing what's not appropriate or not good or the thing that's if we really go after the truth and recognize what's true. When we're talking error, obviously you want to recognize, oh, there's an erroneous idea here. There's a belief here. That's something that doesn't belong. Do we start focusing on that? Do we start focusing on the old chair? Oh, this chair. Oh my gosh, look at the tear there. And look at the worn spot. And look at the, oh yeah, remember that stain? Remember when I did that 16 years ago? And I'm still remembering how horrible it was when I did that and I betrayed. How many of us do that? We bring up the past. We start remembering, oh yeah, when I made that mistake. Oh yeah, I have this thing, this thing hurts because I had that accident. Really? Right now, are you having the accident? No. Back then, did you even have the accident? No. God's man has never been separated from God because man is, we talked about it yesterday, man is the demonstration of God's being. You can't be separated. The fact that you exist means you are the demonstration of God. You can't be separated. I mean, that's kind of the ABCs of divine science. You exist, therefore you're at one with God. Like it is that obvious. If you didn't exist, you wouldn't be at one with God. Well, gosh, you exist. So you are at one with God. So it's only belief, mortal mind, animal magnetism, name it what you want, that would try to make you believe, convince you that you've been separated from God. And oh yeah, remember that error from 16 years ago that you're still carrying around. So how do we get out of that? Go buy the new chair. Start investigating the new chair. Start looking for what's old is new, meaning you already own it. You already are God's man. You already have the new chair. So you get to recognize that, oh my gosh, it's sitting right here in my house, and I just need to move it into place and get rid of the old one. And by moving it into place, you got to get rid of the old one for it to have space. And then you're not thinking about the old one at all. You're not wishing you had it, wishing you had that ratty-tatty thing that actually was poking you in the back when you sat on it because the springs were coming through and you had to put extra pillows there. It wasn't really that comfortable after all, was it? You were just used to it. And you were afraid of losing something that you had become accustomed to. There's that Bible passage that I read very differently this morning, where it says, God sent forth his son, made of a woman, made under the law, to redeem them that were under the law, that we might receive the adoption of sons. You look at Bible analogies and you look at what it all means. I will offer an idea, you can take it or leave it. Obviously, God's man is under divine law, not under man's law, mortal sense of law, which is false. Coming to redeem, to save, to free us from that mortal false law. So God's man is under divine law, is governed by divine law, by nature of being God's man. So when we see our true likeness, we are freed naturally from the false likeness. We are freed from any belief in something separate from God. You know, there's that thing about if you're dealing with loss, you don't treat the idea of loss. You look at the truth that mind is all and mind has never lost anything. And that truth, within that truth, there is no loss. So as long as you're treating the error, you're treating it as a reality and something that you need to like focus in on and deal with the problem. We've talked about this a lot this week, actually. You're focusing in the wrong place. You're focusing on the old chair that you're afraid to get rid of because you're comfortable with it. So always go to investigate, buy, plan for, look at, focus on the new chair, the real you. Should probably say, not say new, because it's the real you. It's the old you. It's the one who is the real, original you that you haven't been distracted by, that you haven't started believing something else about. So God's man made under divine law, that law frees us from a false sense of law. It frees us from the belief that mind could ever be in matter and be limited, which is essentially the scientific idea behind animal magnetism, that somehow mind could be in matter. Never going to happen. Not possible. So the divine law, the divine principle is the thing. How does Mrs. Eddy say it? Divine principle casts out error and heals both the sick and the sinning. Divine law is what does that. There's nothing in there that says, okay, it's time to go to battle. You need to do this. You need to go in there and cross swords. Divine principle does that, casts out the error. So we are aligning ourselves with divine principle. So where in your life do you have those old chairs? Where do you have those things that you kind of want to get rid of? And how much time and thought and energy carrying it around in your head have you spent worrying about it, thinking about the change that's going to occur if you get rid of it, thinking about how can you possibly shift yourself to not do that anymore. We can't not do something. You've heard me say that umpteen times. You can't not do something. Always choose what you're going to do. Don't focus on what you'd rather not be doing, because you can't not do something. You're always doing something. You're always going to be proactive. Either you're going to be proactive towards the truth, or you're going to be proactive in trying to fight the error. Which do you think is going to bring better results? It's all over. If you are one in this group who reads the Bible lesson, it's all over the lesson this week. It's all over it. Many, many places. Speak the truth to every form of error. She doesn't say, go in and investigate what the error is and do battle with the error. Speak the truth to every form of error. Truth is the thing that denounces the error. I spent a lot of time on that yesterday. So we do know that, I like the chair analogy actually. We do know that we're not going to go start looking for a new chair until we recognize that the one we have that's not good is not good. If we are blind to the fact that the old chair is tattered and torn and really isn't appropriate for us right now, we're not going to go look for a new chair. We got to recognize that, oh, this chair has had it. This chair is worn out. These habits of mine are not good. This way of being that I've become accustomed to is not good. I've been, until I recognize, wow, I've been very critical and judgmental. Until I notice that that's something that's going on in my thought, I don't see it. So yes, absolutely, we need to recognize error. We need to uncover it. We need to notice, oh, this doesn't align with God's man. And then we go to the truth. We go to the divine law that counters the belief that's underlying that. I feel like, okay, God, I feel like we get it. We've gone over this a lot this week, but it's coming through again and again. Let Christian Science, instead of corporeal sense, support your understanding of being. So when you recognize there's a problem, immediately, I recognize it, I see it, I'm exposing it, there's an issue, immediately let the law of good do its job. Let the law of good be in operation in your life by recognizing it as the law and not continuing to buy into the belief of false law, i.e. mind and matter, limitation, separation from the divine, lack. All of that is based in belief. All of it is based in false law, not true law. You are freed from that by divine law. It says it in the Bible. It's explained and expounded on in Science and Health. Many, many other places you will find it. You will find it in the Quran. You will find it in every text you can find on planet Earth that has the voice of truth in it. You can find it. You can find the same idea. The more difficult seems the material condition to be overcome by spirit, the stronger should be our faith and the purer our love. She doesn't say the more difficult the problem to be overcome by you struggling with the problem, to be overcome by spirit. There's a clue. We're not diving into matter to solve matter, because matter is the illusion. So why would you dive into the illusion to solve the illusion? You wouldn't. You could just get more of the illusion. You dive into the illusion to solve the illusion, you've just made the illusion more concrete in your thought and therefore in your experience. Not a good plan. You master fear and sin through divine mind. You don't master fear and sin by going into fear and sin and trying to explain, like, what am I afraid of? What is that bad thing I've been doing? What is that thing that I've been doing that's so not the child of God? Well, let me investigate that a little bit more and dive into that. It's not what it says. You master fear and sin through divine mind. Hence, it is through divine mind that you overcome disease. Huh. Very simple, very clear, very much, oh, these are the ABCs. I'm like listening to my tone and I'm going, wow. Okay, we get it, God, we get it. Okay, so lighten it up. So look at the old chairs and recognize they're tattered. Like notice it and go, yup, tattered chair. Don't want that in my life anymore. I see you. I know you're not right for me. Great. I'm going looking for a new chair and I'm getting the new chair. Or I'm going to look for the real chair that's sitting in the back and I'm going to pull that one out because that's the one I'm using from now on. And the old one gets replaced. It gets bumped. It's like that, you know, when that swinging ball thing, like one comes in and it goes out the other side. It comes in, it goes out the other side. It's like that. It's like the view of you that's true, the true you comes in, the old one's out. So the new one comes in, the old one's out. So that's how we do it. That's how we get rid of those things that we don't want in our life. Okay, let's bring it in. Okay, one final thing. The thing that prompts you to go find the new chair is you recognizing that you're worth it. Is you recognizing that, you know, I don't need to put up with this old tattered thing anymore. I deserve something fresh and new and more aligned with who I truly am. It's like we don't, if we don't feel we deserve it or we're worth it, we tend to put up with the BS. We tend to sit in a chair that's really not beautiful and has glory in it. Like, sit in a chair that has glory in it, that expresses beauty. Be in that place, surround yourself with, and this isn't obviously just about the chair, but surround yourself with what is good and beautiful because you deserve it, because you are worthy. The adoption of sons, go back to that Bible verse, to that we are adopted as God's child. And as such, we are in the presence, in the kingdom of God, in the presence of heaven, in that place of harmony and all is well. And we deserve it because we are given all good. So if you think you're not deserving of it, that's the first place to shift and see that you are. Until you feel that you are, you probably won't go look for the new chair, metaphorically speaking. So like see that you're worth it. See that you deserve all good. and all abundance and every possibility of good. Like, open your thought to, and immediately mortal mind tries to come in and go, oh, no, I can't. No, I can't afford that. Or I don't have the time, or I don't have the money. It's like signing up for, like, if it's not Morning Metaphys, something else. Like, invest in yourself. Invest in the fact that you're worth it. Your progress in understanding who you truly are is the most important thing you can invest in. Because why else are we here? It's the most important thing you can invest in. That is your life. Your view of yourself is your life. And if you're not cultivating that day in and day out, I know you're doing it here, so you guys are all part of this. Actually, there are guests who are visiting. So if you don't choose this, choose something, have a daily practice whereby you are confirming your value every day. That's the most important investment you can make. And if you don't invest in that, then what is that saying? Challenge that. If you're not willing to invest in it, challenge it. Okay. So much love. It's Friday. And those of you who are guests, I will see you Monday. And if you have not scheduled a private with me, do so, because I would love to get to know who you are. We have a really wonderful community here. I love my peeps. They're not my peeps, they're God's peeps, but I love that we're all together. This is not about me. This is about you. So anyway, much love to you guys. Go find those raggedy chairs. Go get new ones in every area of your life. All right, have a good weekend. I'll see you on Monday.